Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Think Future with Calabucas. I'm Calabucas, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation, startups, and the future. Not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. Now, this is show number, what show number is it? Show number 416, and I made a huge mistake. Let me go back and check it. I made a huge mistake in show 410 because I didn't quite finish show 410. I mean, one of the things about this show is that we're all about the future, right? We talk about the present, we talk about the past, and how you should ignore it, and we talk about the future. And one of the things I didn't do in that show where I said, this is part 2 of don't buy an electric car. So in that show, I said don't buy an electric car. But I didn't give you the futurist reason why you shouldn't buy an electric car. I mean, I gave you tons of reasons for today to not buy an electric car. Like, for example, the fact that the electricity is generated somewhere else. You have no idea where it's generated. It may or may not be generated cleanly. You may or may not agree with the way the electricity is generated because all you're doing is storing it and using it. So an electric vehicle may be bad. You just don't know. So we should talk about other types of power. See, this is the thing, is that it's great that we have internal combustion engines. It's great that we have electric vehicles. But the problem is, like I said before, is that you're not generating the energy on the vehicle. You're generating it somewhere else. You're storing it on the vehicle, then you're using it. What we really need to do is ideate and innovate and develop new ways to move ourselves that distance. So for example, look at something like the hydrogen fuel vehicle, like the Mirai, right? I mean, I think that's a really good idea. That is a forward-thinking, innovative way to not use fossil fuels, use the most common element on the planet, hydrogen, and the whole process of filling up your tank with hydrogen takes a few seconds, and you've got a huge range. So that, if you ask me, is a more futuristic, more useful method of reducing carbon dioxide or whatever the problem is that people have problem with internal combustion engines. So if you have a problem with ICE, if you have a problem with combustion engines, you shouldn't be looking at electric vehicles. You should be looking at hydrogen fueled vehicles, or even beyond that. Why aren't we looking at nuclear power, right? I mean, I remember reading science fiction novels way back where they talked about suitcase nuclear power, and you could actually have some kind of a nuclear generator in your automobile, which would power it forever. Maybe a thimble of plutonium, really tiny. Why haven't we progressed on building incredibly small incredibly small and safe nuclear reactors and put those into vehicles? Why haven't we progressed in that thing? I think the thing is that if we go too far down the road of electric vehicles, we're going to lose the sight that this is not the right path to be on when it comes to developing a completely sustainable infrastructure for motive power. I think we have to don't give up on other ways of doing it. We have to try harder to come up with brand new ways of generating energy. And let's say we come up with geothermal power. I hear geothermal power is really cool and something we should be investigating. And if geothermal power is powering your electric vehicle, then I'm all for it. But like I said, right at this very moment when we don't know what energy is being used to power our electric vehicles, then I would suggest that we focus our efforts on staying with the ICE, staying with the internal combustion engine. You just get a very tiny displacement engine, or go to a bike if you have to. But then beyond that, let's think hard about better ways to move ourselves around if we need to. Now that's the important point, because it's not just getting people out of internal combustion engine vehicles, it's getting people out of moving, period. I mean, one of the major reasons why we have so many internal combustion vehicles out there is because of the way our society is created. If we created a new way of living, a new way of existing, then we wouldn't need to commute as much as we do. In fact, we saw a little bit of that during COVID. Remember when everything was shut down, everybody was working from home? The amount of reduction of CO2 in the air was amazing. People could see things they could never see before. So if we really want to work at this correctly, it has to be a systemic change across the board and not just buying an electric car and saying, I'm doing my part for the environment.